The art that I have is very multicolored, and my kids kind of walk in and they're just like, oh God, like there's another one.
Hi, I'm George, the co-founder of Bluethumb. I'm joined by my colleague Amy. Welcome to the Art in My Home podcast.
We uncover the surprising stories from the art collections of unexpected guests.
Today's guest is Claire Greaves. Claire is the founder and creative director of Booie Beauty alongside Celeste Barbour and the co-founder of PE Nation. Beyond her roles in business, Claire's an abstract artist who's recently held an exhibition at Coma Street Studios in Sydney. She's also the owner of Sun Ranch, a beautifully designed luxury retreat in Byron Bay. Welcome to the podcast, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
What initially sparked your interest in art, Claire?
Oh God, I've been, creating art since I was a baby, but art for me, like the self-expression and the freedom you get from art, whether you're looking at it or whether you are creating it, is everything to me.
And as far as sort of collecting art goes, do you remember the first piece you bought?
I think, to be honest, I actually think it's one of the ones I sent through to you, which is the Steph Mitchell drawing that I commissioned her to do in, I'm going to show my age, 2000 and maybe 18. Yeah.
And Steph, I looked her up. So she's mostly a photographer, is that right?
Yeah. So back when I commissioned her, she was mostly an artist and photography on the side. But now that's kind of switched around for her. She's a phenomenal photographer as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw she's done these big brand campaigns. I saw Kim Kardashian for Balenciaga.
Yeah.
And the biggest of the big.
Yeah. She's amazing. She's an incredible person as well. Yeah.
What made you want to commission from her?
I love how simple her line art is. It's kind of just perfect. And she was doing all these amazing figurative drawings, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of going into that world a little bit with my art. But yeah, it's so striking. And just that black and white, it's kind of perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I was calling them sexy foxes to George early. I really like how you've hung them as well. Saying it's curated is a bit wanky, but I really like your hanging style, especially with I believe it's like a light hanging next to...
oh, how beautiful is that light?
Yeah, it's really cool. I just love that whole space. It's just very simple hang, but so impactful at the same time. I really liked it.
The 70s vibe going in.
Yeah.
That low couch and that light. Yeah.
Yeah. And even the artwork is perfect with it too. Really goes with the couch. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Sun Ranch, because you do have some great artworks in there as well. How does art play a role in that space?
Look, when we were designing Sun Ranch, it was very much about what kind of art and, how we're going to contradict what's going on in the house and in the rooms with the art. So it's kind of a little bit of a play. It's fun and new and not as ranchy as what the ranch is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that. So as an artist yourself, Claire, how do you balance, and it's a tricky balance, collecting and creating yourself? Because you might look at a space on a wall and you'd be like, I could just paint something myself. Or you're like, oh, could I buy something yourself? So is there a different way that you might approach choosing art for your home versus making it for your home?
For sure. I think for me, collecting art is the ultimate.
Of course.
I don't want my house to be full of my art as much as it is deeply emotional for me. And having my art in my house is a bit of a proud moment of going, these are the pieces I really need to keep in my house. But at the moment, my house has a lot of my art, but the pieces that I'm looking at more are the ones that I've bought or collected from other artists. And it's funny, my house is very colourful. Where I live in Avalon, very colourful. The art that I have is very multicolored, and my kids kind of walk in and they're just like, oh God, there's another one. So I've got 4 of my artworks, which are almost layered on top of each other, kind of lying on the floor, hanging from the walls. But I think, the collecting pieces for me, they're so, everything's special, but they're special because they mean something to you when you look at them.
Of course.
I think going back to that question you asked me about my first piece of art, Steph's was definitely my first. My second big one was a James Edelson. And that one is really, really special to me because it was almost like I felt like an adult when I bought that.
Yeah.
It was a big piece. It was quite expensive and it reminded me of my son. And when I bought it, I was like, that was made for me, and that it's really special. Yeah.
How does it remind you of your son?
My son's a bit crazy. There's this like huge kind of, I don't want to call it a lion or anything, but it looks like this huge multicolored kind of almost psychedelic head. And my son, he has ADHD and he's a bit like, or here, there and everywhere guy. And it's beautiful with all of this energy, this amazing energy.
Yeah, when I saw that, it reminded me of that emoji of the red kind of devil, just but with colour. I'm like, this devil face. But I love that piece as well. I think it looks amazing.
I love that piece.
Yeah, I didn't know the artist either, but he uses colour in an amazing way.
He does. Yeah. He uses so many layers, so many techniques. Like if you look into that painting, there's almost like collage in there and there's metallics and all sorts of different mediums.
Amy and I were talking about that piece just this morning, and the colour scheme, I think, kind of reminded us of Del Catherine Barton as well.
Yeah.
Is it colour or the technique? It's something.
A bit of both, to be honest. Yeah. I love her work.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, same.
That's phenomenal. A friend of mine has a couple of her pieces. Yeah.
She's
I know.
goals. She's
goals.
Yeah. It's one of Amy's, Amy
my favourite.
Collecting goals,
Yeah. I'll know when I've made it, when I've got a Del Catherine Barton in my house.
It's like it's a point in your life where you're like, okay, I'm an adult now, or I've made it.
Yeah. 100%. We went to a gallery down the street near our current gallery. George was there. I think I walked in, it was a Del Catherine Barton on the racks, and I was like, and everyone was like, are you okay? Like, is everything fine? And I was like, just passing out.
Totally.
Claire, I couldn't quite tell. Have some of your artworks, your own artworks, made it to Sun Ranch?
No.
Keeping it private.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to the girls about putting it in there. There's a few of us in Sun Ranch, so it's a bit of a collective decision.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's a goal.
For sure.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Sun Ranch looks like the California cowboy ranch to me. That's kind of had those vibes. And one of the pieces you sent through is a Jakey Pedro piece, who we've talked about before on the podcast here. Another guest came on who as one of his favourite artists. Yeah. And so that's how I discovered him. And it's like abstracty cowboy art, I think. And is that in Sun? Oh, obviously it's not in Sun Ranch. It's at your house, but
that's at my house. Yeah, that's my house in Avalon. Jake is a good friend of mine. So he was actually allowing me to use his studio for a bit, which was very lovely.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you paint in his studio or do you paint at home?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, sure.
I paint at home a lot, but when I was getting ready for my exhibition, I just needed more space, and he was very kind to let me use his space. He's very talented.
Oh, very popular as well at the moment. Like
very,
I should have got in earlier because I know he's just had this massive growth over the last couple of years. Like I should have got in when he was less known. But now I just love like the cowboy hats, like
totally.
So
and
fun.
The colors he uses, they're just perfect. And it was really fun painting with him because I would be like, oh, I think it's done, and he's like, hang on, and just like hand me a turquoise brush and be like, go on.
Another layer.
Oh, actually, now it's done. So that was fun. Yeah.
It's funny how like the artist can just see it's just missing just something, and that one touch up can just make such a difference where you would have just been like, oh no, I think this is good, but like just taking it to that next level.
I know it does. And it's that color, which I feel like I've got a very good, strong color palette from all of the stuff I've done in fashion before. But putting it on canvas, you don't know if you're ever done with a canvas, or if you do know you're done, someone could be like, well, maybe a little bit here, a little bit more here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you get to give him some pointers?
I did. I did. Yeah. I don't know if he took them. No, he did. We had a good time painting together. It's really nice painting with another artist, just because you see things so differently. But also, some people would take it as a criticism to have someone else give opinions of their own art. But I feel like if you really respect the other artist, it's very collaborative.
And also, being an artist, it can be quite solitary. Like, you're doing
Yeah.
it by yourself a lot. So it's nice. We have a couple of two of our artists, they work next to each other in the studio. They have different styles, but then one will venture into the other abstract, the other one's very geometric. And you can really see, like, it's nice to see that development. I think it like makes them great artists, that they're happy to like try new things, but also bouncing ideas off it reflects in their artworks.
Totally, 100%. And it is, as you said, it is very solitary. And when you do have someone else doing it with you, you pump the music, and it's almost like a party. It's like a painting party. And it's fun.
Love it. And that reflects in your artworks. If you're happy, it's going to reflect.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. Like, there are some paintings that have come out which are super dark and evil, and no one's ever going to see them. And then you've got the really happy, fun, vibrant, energetic ones. Yeah.
For sure. Is there any artists on your radar that you might want to be collecting in the future?
Look, I've got it on my phone because I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm going to stuff this up. But I love his art so much, and I've loved it for so long. Hussein Sami.
Oh, okay.
Do you know that?
No,
artist?
not familiar. No.
He does a lot of, it's almost like plastic wrapping canvas.
Oh, really textural.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love his work. That's one that I would love to get at some point.
Next on the list. Yeah.
That's next on the list. Yeah.
Are they Sydney side or a local Australian or?
No, Melbourne, Berlin.
Oh,
They're the galleries that he's in. So I actually don't know where he's from. I saw his art first down in, all the galleries down in Trumper Park in Sydney. Have you been down there with, oh my God, there's like 4 galleries all next to each other. They're amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw his art there, and I was on the verge, but I didn't get it. And that's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always one that gets away, isn't it? Like.
Absolutely.
The worst is when, it gets away and then they go bananas.
Yeah, totally. And I was like, I should have just got that. Yeah.
The regret. And you sent through an artwork, a painting of a jug by your mother. So she's an artist.
Yeah. So my mum, she's a beautiful artist, and she's been painting for maybe like 20 years.
Wow.
And watching her evolve as an artist growing up and where she's got to now has been such an amazing thing to watch. She's doing a lot of very abstract stuff now, and those jugs were a new kind of movement for her. And when I bought that place in Byron Bay, she was like, I've done this artworks for you. And she did me 3 jug artworks, and they're beautiful, and they're all up in my house. And she thought about the colors of my house and all of the things. So yeah. She sells out of Merrill Hare's studio in Sydney. But yeah, she's very talented.
Yeah, gosh, that's a good artwork, that jug. I love those colours.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah. Really pretty. Really pretty.
Did she kind of inspire you to
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny, like, because I hadn't picked up a paintbrush properly since school. And a couple of years ago, she was like, come and just paint in my studio. I feel like you need a bit of an outlet. And I was like, yeah, okay. Sure. And I walked in there. I was having a bit of a moment in my life, and I walked in there. She had the music going. She had this huge canvas. She was like, here you go, just go for it, and had all these paints ready for me to go. And I literally just like went nuts on this canvas. I was crying, I was singing, I was doing all, art therapy is real. And it was incredible. And I'm so grateful for her doing that for me, because that's kind of when I started picking up my art again. So she's a huge inspiration for me. And I often just send her pictures of my paintings. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, oh, come on, that's gone a bit far. Let me go there. No, it's nice to bounce off her.
Oh, fantastic. I love that. Is that first big piece, does that exist?
No, I painted over it.
Just didn't need the reminder.
It was really, really dark. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, my dad has always been a painter, but also a businessman, and I guess I only inherited the business side from him, not the painting. I wish I had, but still time.
Yeah, there's always time.
Art transforms spaces and tells stories, just like those shared here. Ready to find your own? Bluethumb Art has thousands of pieces from local artists, making it easy to find the perfect fit. Visit bluethumb.com.au to start discovering.
You sent through an interesting yellow with gold sculpture. What's
Yes.
that, and who's that by?
So that's by Ben Maisie. He's a ceramicist in Sydney. He's got a gallery in Melbourne. He's actually a great friend of mine, and he gifted me that piece, and he does phenomenal things. And actually another piece that I'm coveting at the moment is one of his ceramic totems. If you have a look at him on Instagram, his totems are amazing. And he just did he put all of his ceramics in a New York Fashion Week show.
Wow.
Recently, and he's actually got a exhibition, like a group exhibition tonight, which I'm going to in the city.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool.
I love it. I think it's simple but very effective. Like
that's exactly what it is. It's simple but very effective.
just a little touch of gold and
Yeah,
perfect.
beautiful.
Claire, can we talk about your amazing other career? We've talked
Yeah,
about your art, but
absolutely.
yeah, I gave you a terribly thin introduction, but you've achieved a ton in the fashion world and now have moved into beauty.
Yes.
So yeah, let's talk about Booie Beauty, which you just launched with Celeste Barbour.
Yep.
What inspired you to start that with her, and how's that been?
I was having lunch with her, about a year or so ago, and we were, just chatting about life. And she goes, I've had this idea that's been in my head for years. And this beauty brand, which is all for the people, because it's just like, get you out the door. It is 5 products. It's no fuss. It is just like people my age, in the beauty industry, we're overlooked, because everything's a tutorial for kids in there like 15 to 30, and it's all about cat eyes and this and that and da, da, da. But what about the working woman, the mum, the busy person who just wants to look their best and get out the fucking door? And so she was telling me about this idea, and I said, oh, I'm in. And she was like, oh, okay, what? Okay. And then she called me a couple of days later. She goes, no, seriously, like I've had this idea in my head for 3 years. I need someone to help me get it off the ground. And I was like, yep, I'm in. So I started working on that with her probably at the beginning of the year, and we launched in July.
Amazing. How's it been?
Awesome. It's so good. I love product businesses. Like, I love building brands. I love all the creative direction around it. I love the story that comes with it. And so it's been excellent to work with her. She's an amazing human. She's so down to earth, and she knows what she wants, but she also listens. And the brand is just obviously from the get-go very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been mostly in fashion. Is it different being in beauty, or is it quite similar?
It's quite similar. Like at the beginning, I was thinking, it is going to be different, but it's a product-based business. So you're building products and you're building formulas, whether it's a t-shirt or whether it is a foundation or a lip gloss, So it's all about the ingredients. It's all about the materials, essentially. And when you pepper that in with brand and story and colors and everything, it's a very similar business. Less amount of product in the beauty industry, because you build the product and then you repeat it. Whereas fashion, you're constantly having to evolve. So that's a nice change.
Yeah, amazing. From the outside, it looks like it's gone very well, very quickly, which is great.
Yeah, it has. It's good.
Awesome. And obviously your company that you co-founded and were creative director of before that was PE Nation, which as a guy who knows absolutely zero about fashion, even I know about them as like the leading athleisure brand, the only athleisure brand I know,
It's the only athleisure brand.
Well,
The only
that's
one.
the only one I know. So yeah, I'm sure there's a million things you talk about there. But one thing that interests me is, what's the kind of biggest business lesson you've taken out of that, into new things?
That's an interesting question, because there are so many lessons. But I think for me, it is stay in your lane. in so many different ways. Like stay in your lane from a category perspective, but also stay in your lane inside the business where you know what you're good at. So I know I'm good at creative direction and I know I'm really great at designing and color and all that. Stay in your lane. I'm not going to be sitting across our CFO and telling him how to count numbers, or I'm not going to be sitting across the social media when Pip has that covered, you know? So like stay in your lane. Know what you're good at and make sure that you're the best you can possibly be in that area.
Yeah, I like that advice. I need to take it.
I'll say nothing there, George. I'm joking. How, honestly, you do so many things. How do you balance all your roles day to day?
You know what?
I'm overwhelmed for you.
I know, totally. I don't even know how to answer that. I need a PA. No, I don't.
You do.
I do. I am very unstructured, but I feel like it's working for me at the moment because I don't have anywhere I really need to be. Like I'm working on Booie, I'm working on a bit of PE, I'm working on my art, I'm working on other projects, and you know, Sun Ranch, blah blah blah, whatever I need. I'm kind of on call, if that makes sense, and working on it in my time that I am not on a phone call. But it's really unstructured, and I probably should put some more structure in there. Because you know what does suffer? My art is the one that gets the back seat because I've got all these people or businesses and doing all the things, and then where's the time for painting, or where's the time for my time? So I've actually got to structure that in and block some time out. Thank you for reminding me.
No. You keep going. If it works, it works. I also wanted to ask about how your first art exhibition went at Creamer Street Studios.
It was excellent. It was so amazing. I was blown away by the amount of people who turned up, the support I got, the amount of people who bought art. I said to a friend of mine, probably 2 months before, I think I'm going to do an art exhibition. And he was like, great, do it. And then suddenly I just turned it around. My mum was like dying. She goes, what do you mean you're just doing an exhibition? You can't just do an exhibition. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm totally just going to do it. Anyway, I did it and it was amazing. The opening night was phenomenal. I sold probably 3/4 of the whole exhibition.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it was great. It was a really nice experience.
I know a lot of artists are like really scared about exhibiting. Like they're like, oh, we'll try and get some into the gallery. They're like, no, just send it direct to the buyer. Like I'm scared to exhibit. So it's a really big step to do as a new artist as well. So congrats on that.
It was a really big step and I probably should have been more scared about it before.
Can I ask Claire, were you more nervous when you were opening night with your art and people coming to see your art and like, are people going to like this, those nerves versus like Fashion Week with new designs, say for PE? What's more nerve-wracking?
Oh, you know what? They're probably about the same because I feel like with my art, I ended up having a give a fuck kind of mentality. Like I had to go give a fuck if anyone likes it because this is about me just throwing out everything that's just come out of me. Fashion's a bit different actually. Now that I think about it, when you're putting a collection down the runway, you need it to sell. Yes, they're creative, beautiful designs, but they have to also sell. They have to, have that objective. Whereas for art, for me, I want to sell it, obviously, but I also want to sell it because someone dies over it. But I guess it's the same with fashion. Everyone's dying over that piece as well. It's the same. It's the same. Yeah.
Well, at least you had some experience with that side of things.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, how do you make a brand cool? Like, how do you do that?
That's a huge question.
Yeah, I know. Can you summarize in 20 seconds?
Yeah. Sure. What you need is...
Oh, God.
I'm super curious.
A brand to be cool, far out. You know what? It's authenticity, I think. And if you believe in it and you're not looking at something and going, I'm going to do that because that will be cool. It's got to come from in here. And you've got to resonate with it and you've got to be really authentic with what you're creating and hope that it resonates with a million trillion other people, and it's being different and it's having a point of view. Yeah.
That's an excellent 20-second answer, Claire.
Okay, good. Great.
Claire, what's next for you? Like, can you fit anything else in your schedule, or are you
Always.
Anything new and exciting coming up?
Well, no, I was talking to my sister the other day and she was like, I don't have enough time to do this. And I was like, everyone has enough time. So, yeah, look, there are a couple of things happening, which I can't talk about right now, but I'm excited about them. And yeah, you'll see in the near future. But yeah, I've always
Definitely
got
watch this space.
Yeah. Yep.
Is there more happening in your art that you are planning on, or that just comes as the ideas come?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I feel like I'm going down this route with my art where I'm doing this kind of figurative painting and drawing on paper, which I'm loving. And I want to do a whole exhibition around that. And I want to do that at Sun Ranch. I wanted to have the exhibition.
Oh, fantastic.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Especially if you invite us, that'd be great.
Of course. 100%.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll have to get sign off from my partner. I've got 2 kids under 3, so.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm pumped for that. So yeah.
Awesome. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on, Claire.
Yeah,
this has been
Thanks for
a
having
really
me.
illuminating, very interesting chat.
Yeah,
And,
it's great.
Hopefully we will see you next time we're in Sydney. And if you're ever in Melbourne, come and visit the gallery.
Will do, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
If you love art and hearing collectors' stories, please share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to follow the show, rate and review to help make the pod more visible. We acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the traditional owners of the land we're recording on, and we pay respects to elders past, present and emerging.